Hi, welcome back. We're going to do a one-shot review. For those who don't know what the one-shot review is, what we've been doing recently here at This Hidden World. Um, it's just a review we do in one take with no edits and no cuts and no screenshot inserts because we do not have a laptop anymore, and the quest to afford a new one has not been going well. The last 2 months have had about a year's worth of bills, a lot of them vet bills for our dear Pippi, which you might have seen in many of our uh, videos, her repairing. And so we're just going to do this one shot here, but we can't wait for the computer for this one because we've done 3 Death Wish Blu-ray videos before, and there's a new Death Wish release in Australasia, which is the Canon Classics double feature with Death Wish 2 and Death Wish 3. Death Wish 2 being the uncut version, which was only released in America on Shout Factory, I believe, and Region A locked. I'm pretty sure this is Region B locked, but I will double check and put it in the description to whether it's Region Free or not. Death Wish 3 is the regular theatrical cut, which was uncut anyway, and it is. They both look and sound pretty much the same as the previous editions of them, except for they have special features for both these films, whereas the theatrical cuts of both these films were bare bones. The director's cut on Shout Factory, I'd have to check, but I think it had some special features, but uh, they've really gone to town on the special features as best they can without spending too much money for both these films. So let's talk about that. The special features um, on the Blu-ray, they have both films on the one Blu-ray. It hasn't really affected the. It's got a high bit rate and it's a BD50 disc, so the both films still look as strong as what I remember the single disc versions being, um, and they have a few special features on this disc as well. They have theatrical trailers for both films. They have 2 TV spots for Death Wish 2 and 1 TV spot for Death Wish 3. They have an episode of an ongoing series, which I believe is called Action 2. It's a 52-minute episode which covers the making of films from the same era, and there's 4 films. One of them is Death Wish 3. Then there's Runaway Train, House, and a 4th film which I forget the name of. It's Nick Nolte and Katharine Hepburn, like a chase film. Now the film starts talking about Death Wish 3 early, and then it goes on to some other films, but it does come back to Death Wish 3 often, and there's quite a bit of footage about the making of it, and it's quite interesting. It's a vintage piece, but the quality is good enough to watch for sure. There's also interviews with cast members and crew members, which is taken from the Electric Boogaloo, The Wild Untold Story of Canon Films documentary, and it features interviews with cast members Alex Winter and Robin Sherwood, screenwriter David Engelbach, and Todd Roberts, the son of producer Bobby Roberts, and extended interviews with. It says they're extended interviews, which are from the documentary. So I'm imagining maybe some of the stuff is not actually in the documentary. I haven't seen the documentary myself, so I'm not sure. But it sounds like maybe they've taken some interviews and made longer parts in specific to these Death Wish films for the release, and they're quite interesting. It says and more, which I can only tell you is probably the text intro to Death Wish 2, explaining the differences and why scenes were cut. Um, then there is a whole second disc, a DVD, with 3 versions of Death Wish 2, all on one disc. Surprisingly enough, the theatrical version of Death Wish 2 looks pretty good, considering so much is on a DVD. And then you have the Greek VHS cut, which has a lot of work print footage, which was never supposed to be in the film, but there's a lot of scenes that don't appear in any other version. In the Greek VHS version, the quality is terrible. It has Greek burnt-in subs, but it's there as a curiosity. Might have been nice for them just to take those extra scenes out and had them as deleted scenes, but it is what it is. And then there is the TV version, which took out a lot of the violence and added extra scenes that were shot and not used. So these 3 versions have scenes that are not in any other version, and they're all different, so that's why they're all included. Now, the interesting thing about the TV version is it has text, telling you when shots are different, when dialogue is different, has subtitles telling you different dialogue, why things were changed. So it's like a special feature spread out over a whole film's length. The theatrical cut looks great. The other two versions look pretty terrible, but it's cool that they're there. And there is text intros from Paul Talbot, the Charles Bronson biographer, about the differences in the history of each version before each film plays. So really cool special features. And we'll have a quick look at the set. We got the two discs there. I'll take them out. I'll take out the reversible sleeve, which has the full cover for both films, which is pretty rad. You can use that, or you can have this version. And there's the Blu-ray and the DVD. Okay, so that's it. It's a big update on Death Wish. I've got rid of my old theatrical cuts of those two films, and now just going with this version. Catch you next time.